Say something real.
I want to say to you as I move to my conclusion, as we talk about where do we go from here, we must honestly face the fact that the movement must address itself to the question of restructuring the whole of American society. There are 40 million poor people here. One day we must ask the question, why are there 40 million poor people in America? And when you begin to ask that question, you're raising a question about the economic system, about a broader distribution of wealth. When you ask that question, you begin to question the capitalistic economy. And I'm simply saying that more and more, we've got to begin to ask questions about the whole society. We are called upon to help the discouraged beggars in life's marketplace. But one day we must come to see that an edifice which produces beggars needs restructuring. It means that questions must be raised. You see, my friends, when you deal with this, you begin to ask the question, who owns the oil? You begin to ask the question, who owns the iron ore? You begin to ask the question, why is it that people have to pay water bills in a world that's 2/3 water? These are words that must be said. Now, don't think you have me in a bind today. I'm not talking about communism. What I'm talking about is far beyond communism. My inspiration didn't come from Karl Marx. My inspiration didn't come from Engels. My inspiration didn't come from Trotsky. My inspiration didn't come from Lenin. Yes, I read Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital a long time ago. And I saw that maybe Marx didn't follow Hegel enough. He took his dialectics, but he left out his idealism and his spiritualism, and he went over to a German philosopher by the name of Feuerbach and took his materialism and made it into a system that he called dialectical materialism. I have to reject that. What I'm saying to you this morning, communism forgets that life is individual. Capitalism forgets that life is social. And the kingdom of brotherhood is found neither in the thesis of communism nor the antithesis of capitalism, but in a higher synthesis. It's found in a higher synthesis that combines the truths of both. Now, when I say question in the whole society, it means ultimately coming to see that the problem of racism, the problem of economic exploitation, and the problem of war are all tied together. These are the triple evils that are interrelated. And if you will let me be a preacher just a little bit. One night a juror came to Jesus, and he wanted to know what he could do to be saved. Jesus didn't get bogged down on the kind of isolated approach of what you shouldn't do. Jesus didn't say, now, Nicodemus, you must stop lying. He didn't say, Nicodemus, now you must not commit adultery. He didn't say, now, Nicodemus, you must stop cheating if you're doing that. He didn't say, Nicodemus, you must stop drinking liquor if you're doing that excessively. He said something altogether different because Jesus realized something basic. That if a man will lie, he will steal. And if a man will steal, he will kill. So instead of just getting bogged down on one thing, Jesus looked at him and said, Nicodemus, you must be born again. In other words, your whole structure must be changed. A nation that will keep people in slavery for 244 years will thingify them and make them things. And therefore, they will exploit them and poor people generally, economically. And a nation that will exploit economically will have to have foreign investments and everything else, and it will have to use its military might to protect them. All of these problems are tied together. What I'm saying today is that we must go from this convention and say, America, you must be born again. So I conclude by saying today that we have a task, and let us go out with a divine dissatisfaction. Let us be dissatisfied until America will no longer have a high blood pressure of creeds and an anemia of deeds. Let us be dissatisfied until the tragic walls that separate the outer city of wealth and comfort from the inner city of poverty and despair shall be crushed by the battering rams of the forces of justice. Let us be dissatisfied until they live on the outskirts of hope, are brought into the metropolis of daily security. Let us be dissatisfied until slums are cast into the junk heaps of history, and every family will live in a decent sanitary home. Let us be dissatisfied until the dark yesterdays of segregated schools will be transformed into bright tomorrows of quality integrated education. Let us be dissatisfied until integration is not seen as a problem, but as an opportunity to participate in the beauty of diversity. Let us be dissatisfied until men and women, however black they may be, will be judged on the basis of the content of their character, not on the basis of the color of their skin. Let us be dissatisfied. Let us be dissatisfied until every state capital be housed by a governor who will do justly, who will love mercy, and who will walk humbly with his God. Let us be dissatisfied until from every city hall justice will roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Let us be dissatisfied until that day when the lion and the lamb shall lie down together, and every man will sit under his own vine and fig tree, and none shall be afraid. Let us be dissatisfied until men will recognize that out of one blood God made all men to dwell upon the face of the earth. Let us be dissatisfied until that day when nobody will shout white power, when nobody will shout black power, but everybody will talk about God's power and human power. And I must confess, my friends, the roll ahead will not always be smooth. There will still be rocket paces of frustration and meandering points of bewilderment. There will be inevitable setbacks here and there. There will be those moments when the buoyancy of hope will be transformed into the fatigue of despair. Our dreams will sometime be shattered and our ethereal hopes blasted. We may again, with tear-drenched eyes, have to stand before the bier of some courageous civil rights worker whose life will be snuffed out by the dastardly acts of bloodthirsty mobs. Difficult and painful as it is, we must walk on in the days ahead with an audacious faith in the future. And as we continue our charted course, we may gain consolation from the words so nobly left by that great black bard, who was also a great freedom fighter of yesterday, James Weldon Johnson. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over the way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the bright gleam of our bright star is cast. Let this affirmation be our ringing cry. It will give us the courage to face the uncertainties of the future. It will give our tired feet new strength as we continue our forward stride toward the city of freedom. When our days become dreary with low hovering clouds of despair, when our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, let us remember that there is a creative force in this universe working to pull down the gigantic mountains of evil, a power that is able to make a way out of no way and transform dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. Let us realize that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Let us realize that William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed to earth will rise again. Let us go out realizing that the Bible is right. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This is our hope for the future. With this faith, we will be able to sing in some not too distant tomorrow with a cosmic past tense. We have overcome. We have overcome. Deep in my heart, I did believe we would overcome.
Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You're listening to Say Something Real. And coming off the King celebration, without fail, a number of celebrations around the country yesterday. The theme, this wasn't planned, it wasn't coordinated, but was based on a speech that Dr. King had done titled, Where Do We Go From Here? So I got to take a break before we get into all of the many things that have transpired over the last several, days, past week. It's a lot to talk about. And we're going to tackle it this morning, but, this won't get all done today. But we will begin to chip away at the madness that we have seen around us and take on some of these big issues. We're going to have to. Before I go to break, let me say good morning to the bros in the studio. What up, Mr. Ride Out? How you doing today, fam?
I'm doing good, but we're going to have to talk about my grease and sugar when we come back. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Let me just say, okay.
Amen.
Hey, Carvey, what's happening, fam? You good? Is this mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay. You good, bruh?
Yeah, just trying not to get sick from all this cold weather.
It's so funny. I thought about you. This brother posted this video here in Milwaukee, him and his son in the car. And he had this thing that said, like, when your son's voice get like deeper than yours. And so he was asking his son to tell him about his day. And his son was like, yeah, we going to the Wisconsin club, for this entrepreneurship, blah, 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 blah. And dude had put like some Barry White or some Teddy P on in the background. So his son was just talking, and then his son like got hip to what his daddy was doing. He like looked at him like, what you doing, bro? And his daddy was like, I'm no, man, I'm sorry. Just tell me what's going on with your day. So his son like trying to keep talking again and tell him about what they get ready to do at school. And his daddy put the music on again. And his son like just stop and look at him and then just get out the car. Just leave his daddy in the car. It was the cutest video. But his dad was like, yeah, when your son voice get deeper than yours, it's crazy. So I thought about Carvey ASAP on that. But all right, family, again, we got a lot to get to. We're going to take a commercial break first so we can go interrupt it, and we will get at it. Be right back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM.
The passing of a loved one is emotional enough without adding the stress of funeral arrangements. By pre-planning, you receive the desires of your heart while taking away the burden from your family. It also saves you money, providing the dignity and respect your memory deserves. And there are times when life ends unexpectedly. Please know that the New Pitts Mortuary is here to lend a helping, caring hand anytime, day or night. We are the New
Family, welcome back to the show. Michelle Bryant, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Opened up the show with a speech that was done by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1967. He was actually meeting with about 100 leaders at the 11th annual SCLC convening down in Atlanta. And for folks that may not know, SCLC is the Student Christian Leadership Congress. And he posed this question because he was talking about coming off of some of the major accomplishments of the civil rights movement. And, you know, as Dr. King was saying, we checking the list. We want to work on voting rights. We want to work on civil rights. We want to work on housing discrimination. We want to work on economic disparity. We want to work on blah, blah, blah. So he running through his list because you gotta, if I'm in this work, I gotta define what I'm in this work to do. And so he meets with these 100 leaders at this convening and he says, so what's next though? Where do we go? Because we know that while we talk about voter registration, while we talk about housing discrimination, as policies begin to change, the real work is enforcing those policies and making sure that people adhere to those policies. What is going to be our strategy? Was the other part of the where do we go from here speech. What's the strategy? Yesterday, I went to I went to a couple, but one Dr. King celebration in particular, King Fest, that's done by Sister Jeanette Herrera, a regular caller and participant here at the show at the station. It's not King Holiday without going to King Fest for me. That's just the way it is. If I'm in town, I'm there. And she brought in Reverend Al Sampson. And this man's bio is crazy. The people that he interacted with, the fact that he was at the 1963 March on Washington, that he was in the room when a lot of these discussions was happening. He was ordained by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Like, this man's connection to King and the King family and to Miss Coretta, all of it well documented, well known. And it was just crazy to even be talking to this brother as we were celebrating Dr. King's 96th birthday, which was on January 15th. And the one thing that the speaker did, Reverend Sampson did, he talked about, you can't have a rap without a map. And when you first listen to the simplicity of it, a rap without a map. The idea that we talking a good game, but we can't tell you how we're going to achieve anything that we're talking about. We can't tell you where we're going. We can't tell you what it looks like once we've hit that pinnacle and if there's anything next we should be focused on. How you going to get there? All of the stuff you're talking about, make it happen. How do you get there? What's the strategy? In the 1967 address, where do we go from here? Dr. King was talking about a tactical, strategic plan for Black folks in this country to be able to make sure that the gains we had won, we did not lose. And the things that we still needed to accomplish, we were focused on the prize. And more importantly, we had a real roadmap, a plan, a map to get to those things. Now, there will always be and always has been hiccups in the road. People who will throw a monkey wrench into the plan. Naysayers, haters, I almost said it. But, just people that just be out there and own that. Just own it. Going back now and looking at the movie Rustin, and we get to see Bayard Rustin because of his homosexuality. People didn't want him connected to the March on Washington. But when the truth got told, they said this was the only brother that could have actually pulled this thing off in the way that they did in the amount of time that they had. And Dr. King had to make a definitive decision. Do I stand with this brother when I got other brothers threatening me to link me to him being gay because they don't want the gay dude to be a part of the movement? And Dr. King had to make a decision like, you know what, fam, you got to do what you got to do. I'm going to do what I got to do. And this goes off to be one of the most historic marches of all times. But there were haters, naysayers, and people trying to decide that they and they alone knew best about the way we should move as a community that put everything at risk and at stake. As many of for those of us that's close to our mamas and grandmamas and big mamas and, our granddaddies and, the elders in our family, you've heard certain things like nothing is new. History repeats itself. Fashion circles, recircles back every 20 years. This ain't nothing, special that y'all doing right now. It's a different iteration, but it's based on X, Y, and Z. Oh, this song is hot, but they sampled Isaac Hayes. They sampled James Brown. They sampled Mahalia Jackson. Like, it's new, but it's not. So seeing people that have figured out how to use these situations that solely will benefit themselves is nothing new, which means that I need to make a quick pivot to some entertainers who caught a lot of attention over the last several days. Snoop Dogg, Soulja Boy, Rick Ross, Nelly, a few others. So the Trump supporters, organizers, have done what everybody does during inauguration time, which is to hold a series of events. A party over here, party over there, pre-inaugural inaugural events. And this was no different. It's no different. There were invitations that were sent out for people to perform at some of these events. And one of them was the Crypto Ball, which was an event to honor Donald Trump. And billing Donald Trump as the first, America's first crypto presidency. And crypto is the cryptocurrency that people have been trying to figure out, how real is this? And folks like, oh no, it's making real money. But when, the jury's out. The jury's out on some of the issues around cryptocurrency. And we can talk about that. But the criticism, and I mentioned Snoop first because in 2017, or really, when they were getting ready to talk about who's going to perform at Trump's first inaugural events and activities, Snoop, did a now famous post in which he called folks jigaboos and sambos and, who was going to perform at it. And he went hard. Well, things changed. And Snoop, I didn't even know dude was a DJ, but he was acting as the DJ and the rapper at the Crypto Ball. And, the first thing that struck me is how you stand up playing this music with the nigga in it in a room full of white people. Like that wasn't lost on me. That whole image of the black minstrel standing up with the, niggas going crazy or whatever, he was playing at the time, and all the white people like partying to it. I'm like, well, look at here. Ain't this interesting? Because these are white people that typically wouldn't have been kicking it. Like they not followers and connoisseurs of black music. So anyway, things changed. And you had to sit back and say, well, wait a minute. How did Snoop go from this cat back in 2016, 2017, who was saying anybody that performed for a Trump inauguration was a Sambo Jigaboo sellout, to now you the Sambo Jigaboo sellout? How does that happen? See, sometimes it's not about the community or the greater good. It's about me. What have you done for me lately? Y'all can sing it. Y'all hear Janet Jackson in the background? What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. Donald Trump had done some things that for Snoop Dogg felt a little personal. One of which is Trump's role in pardoning the co-founder of Death Row Records. So some time ago, one of the final things that Donald Trump did on his way out the door was to pardon this guy. And I'm just pulling up his information real quick. So one of his acts, one of the co-founders of Death Row Records, which is the record label that Snoop Dogg was on, a man by the name of Michael Harry, who was serving 30 years for a life sentence for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. He was the initial person that put up the money for Death Row Records. And he petitioned the court back in 2019 for a compassionate release, complications from COVID-19. But this cat was in for 30. But because of COVID-19, I'm sick. Can y'all show some compassion? Can y'all let me out? And the petition was denied. But Donald Trump, after being contacted by Snoop and some other folks that were advocating on this dude's behalf, he gives him a full pardon. Full pardon. This dude who was getting ready to serve 30 years in prison for attempted murder, you out. So when we trying to figure out, because for some people it was clear, because people were like, Snoop didn't need the money. At least we didn't think he needed the money. So what was this about? And then you got Soulja Boy, who in all his ignorant glory, and if you don't know who Soulja Boy is, you can look him up, but he's a rapper who at this point is getting too old to be called Soulja Boy. But he, goes and makes a video post in which he is holding what looks to be about $30,000 in cash. That's what it looked like to me. And he got just the straight, bricks. Look like $10,000 bricks in his hands. In his sagging jean pockets is where he's stuffing his money. Just the epitome of stupidity. And Soulja Boy, Kamala Harris ain't never called me to do nothing for her. F that B. Barack Obama ain't never made me no money. He could suck my... Trump called me. He the MFing president. Trump called me. And he's just sitting here like, bruh, first of all, Negro, you old enough to know better. You really are. All money ain't good money. As Nelly is getting hot in here, tries to explain why he's present. It's the presidency. You got to respect the office. It's the presidency. This wasn't political. And how I didn't know I had to agree with y'all for y'all to rock with me and listen to my music and la, la, la. Bruh, a lot of reasons why people listen to your music is because they find commonality. I don't listen to heavy metal because I don't have nothing in common with that mess. I'm sorry, that genre. I don't listen to a lot of stuff because I don't vibe with it. I don't see myself reflected in it. I don't connect to it. So yeah, people ride with you because they connect to you on some level. But then when Nelly says it's not political, but then you proceed in a few sentences later to talk about the crime bill, to talk about whether or not Donald Trump housing discrimination should really be a big deal today since it happened years ago, then you make it about policy. It does become political because you was only taking jabs at Biden and Harris, Nelly, in your post. You were not doing that with your boy. You didn't have a negative thing to say about Donald Trump for real, for real. But you was hitting Kamala and Biden. But then you wanted the community to believe that it wasn't political. So we got choices and decisions to make. I've had a number of people reached out to me and say, hey, I'm done with Snoop. That's a wrap for dog. I'm done with Nelly. He done burnt himself up. He damn right it's hot in here. He done burnt himself up with me. Soulja Boy, I ain't really mess with him anyway. Rick Ross, you're going to be at the car show this year by yourself, partner. Like, it's people that was on fire. But I had a moment. I'm like, are y'all the same Negroes that still watch the NFL? Because we pick and choose what we upset about. You want to get in?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, when you talking numbers, I mean, they'll sell their mama if you offer them enough money. So the whole thing of with Snoop, because I saw the video that he did a few years back when he was talking about, Sips and, who gonna perform for him? I ain't. And then 5 years later, 7 years later, whatever, however long it was, here you is trying to justify doing what you did, and that's because they offered you enough money, and he did a favor for him that you couldn't say no. Which the old saying says, money talks, and you know the rest.
But it's also some old sayings about weak men, about those who can easily be bought and sold.
Yeah.
Because, and you juxtapose that to a Dr. King who ultimately gives his life in service of elevating our community. Like, and you gotta lay those things side by side, because there are definitely people who you ain't got enough money to buy them.
Yeah.
You don't have enough, access and power. The dude from Death Row Records, potentially worth more than the whole Black community. Michelle Crissette, she performed.
Yeah.
At the first Trump.
She lost her family and
everybody
everything.
like iced this chick.
Yeah, she lost everything.
She was saying in a recent, interview how she still was fighting to come back.
Yeah.
Had not been able to come back from that. So number one, as a Black woman, I'm paying attention to, do we treat these Black men the same way we treat this Black woman who we was, quote, upset with?
Well, the difference is these Black men are in power. So Snoop is the head of a label, a multi-million-dollar label, which again falls in line with everybody that's connected to Trump. So if you're making money, I'm going to fight for you.
And so when I'm talking now, I'm talking about the community. Yeah. I'm talking about the public.
Right.
Like, when do we draw a line in the sand? Dr. King in that Where Do We Go From Here speech talked about, let us be dissatisfied.
Yeah.
How do we act when we dissatisfied? You don't support the business no more. You raise hell. Yeah. You talk to the management. Yeah. You make different choices. You spend your money elsewhere. When do we begin to act as dissatisfied Black people with our state and condition in this country?
See, I feel you on that, and I'm with you 110%. But the flip side of that is, if you have Black people that ain't never had anything and you give them an inch, you give them some crumbs, unfortunately, we gonna run with that.
But again, that's individuals.
Yeah.
As a community,
yeah,
we still get to make moves. I can't help what Soulja Boy, Rick Ross, Snoop Dogg, or Nelly are going to do as individual men.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what I can do as a consumer who buys those products, who supports those concerts, who pays for those tickets, who turns on the TV because you are part of the lineup.
Right.
We have way more power than, because the rest of us didn't get 30,000.
Yeah.
Or however much they gave this dude to perform. The rest of us didn't come up in that way.
Well,
and many of us don't care to come up in that way.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't that much because Soulja Boy ain't had a hit since, 2003?
Yeah, but it's not based on hits. It's based on white folks being able to find black faces that they can put in front of folks to say, there's our black support. That Negro is with us.
Yeah.
And we're demonstrating every day that we can pull more and more black people to this side of stupid.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. They don't care if this dude been popping on the charts and if he got hits. What they care about is being able to have those tokens at the events to say, see, even though we racist, it's niggas that ride with us. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Sister Michelle.
Good morning. Good morning.
I am calling to make a comment.
Can you turn your radio down for us, please?
Turn it way down.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. We're talking about what these dudes did. Now, here's the thing. Life comes down to three things, basically. Choices, consequences, and responsibility. All those brothers made a choice to take an individual that means to do harm to all communities, except for his top 1%, for a buck. Think about that. They ain't the only ones. It's a lot right here in Milwaukee doing the exact same thing, but like the brother said before, for a few crumbs. And it does not move our agenda forward. And until we start as a people to work as a collective around one agenda that lifts all of us up, we're going to remain where we are. And we have to remind people, Project 2025 is real. It is real, and this is 2025 now. These jokers been working on this for the last 50 years. And one thing that other side is, they're patient, they're strategic, and they know the enemy. And they know that we love things that bling. And all we got to do is show them something that's flashy, and we go for it. And until we get our mindset and elevate our level of thinking and elevate our level of expectation, we're never going to move the needle. Thank you. And it was great being with you yesterday. Although you and Mr. Martin, y'all have issues. Y'all don't know how to behave in public. Y'all gonna have to work on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think about this. Let me go to the next caller. And hey, we behave just fine at King Fest. I don't care what you say. Me and Terrell Martin. Anyway, no, I think that there certainly is fact and truth to what was said. But y'all, turn your radio down for me too, caller. Here I come to you. I'm gonna keep saying it. Let us be dissatisfied. And if we are dissatisfied, then that means we need to have a plan that deals with being dissatisfied. But see, not enough of us are dissatisfied yet.
And that's the thing. Not only that it's not enough, but it's not enough people with power that look like us. That
hey, bruh, the buses in the city of Montgomery got shut down by everyday working class people. We are the largest consumer base in the world. We spend more money as a collective people. Black people spend more money than everybody else. Unfortunately, the sad part is we buy, we don't own. But if you take that buying power, if we all decide we only supporting Black run businesses or businesses that support Black people in this community, it does not take you to be the CEO of nothing. You shut stores down. They leave town because it doesn't matter if I own this and nobody walks through my doors? We have way more power than we appreciate and respect. If Negroes just showed up to vote in some cases, you flip the game. If we run our own candidates and do the work and put our money where our mouth is, you flip and change the game.
Totally
if we raise hell and show up in these state capitals and city buildings and state and federal buildings, we can help change the game. What do I say all the time? People show up for you when you show up for them. If we go and partner instead of trying to figure out ways to be at odds or hating on what the Hispanic community is doing, because now they are the number 2 population demographic in the United States of America. It used to be, it was way more white people than everybody else. Then black people was number 2. Then Latinos was number 3. Then everybody else, Asians, Native Indigenous people, they was number 4. Now the numbers have flipped. White people still number 1. Hispanics, Latinos are number 2 in terms of population size. Black people are number 3. Dr. King talked about it. You're going to have to align yourself with somebody. But as long as I got y'all mad about who taking your black job, who is the roofer on your house, who can start a business and you can't, as long as I keep you mad about that, you're never going to work with those people. You're never going to figure out we got more in common that we need to be pushing for to save our families than we do to be fighting about. I need y'all fighting, because then that means you never work together. And power is in numbers. It's in numbers. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing a lot better than I was.
Good. Hey, Solis.
I love you, Michelle. Did you see your text?
Not yet. I'm going through them though.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, I wanted to say the one to watch, and for the younger people in our communities, Barron Trump. That's the one to watch. He was a big influencer with his dad on online voting, and they powered through. And the TikTok is being saved only through Barron, I believe. And that's the one to keep the eye on, especially for the younger generation. And I love you, and that's my thought for the day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Y'all, we need to make decisions, and decisions that are uncomfortable, decisions that are inconvenient, decisions that require us to move differently, buy differently, support differently. But see, I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. But for every one of them cats that reached out to me about Nelly and Snoop, I said, if you an NFL watcher, I don't know why you calling me. I don't know why you calling me. Because it ain't no different. It's no different. But I don't want to give up nothing. I want to be about the struggle. I want to talk about it, but I don't want to be inconvenienced. I don't want to be shorted. I'm not getting ready to walk because y'all talking about it's a bus boycott. I'm not getting ready to, it's cold outside. My job is 1.5 miles, 2 miles away. Damn y'all. Here go my nickel. I'm getting on the bus. Because I don't want to be inconvenienced. But see, what they had back then was a group of black people that said, get on that bus if you want to and see what happened. Get on it. Because then we're going to ice you. We're going to be done with you. So you better really love all them white people on that bus, because the rest of the community, we're going to get rid of your black behind. So yeah, you can get on the bus, but that means you're going to be done with us. We don't want to do that. It's inconvenient. It's messy. Nelly said in his one of his interviews that he did, trying to justify this whole thing, politics for me is over. Trump won. He's the commander in chief. Negro, we are political every day of our lives in this country. Politics is never over. What did Jermaine say? They plot, or that caller say, they plot, they patient, they planning all year. While you up here rapping at the Liberty Ball, they was already plotting how they getting ready to destroy Black history, Black people, diversity, equity, inclusion. But it's over for you, idiot. That's why you can't send everybody. He said it was over. The election means it's over. I guess we don't get back into gear again until 2027 because these 4 years have been decided. No, that's not how it works. Politics is every day. Wins and losses, gains and movement. You strategizing and plotting forward every day. Every day. See, that's why everybody shouldn't go. You trying to talk on stuff, bruh, this ain't your lane. Talk to people before you open your mouth. Because the people who work in politics and who fight for this stuff, we can tell you these fights are every day. The 2028 is already being thought about today, last week. Because they know Trump leaving. So what we going to do to keep the party rolling? They're already working on it, idiot. While you talking about politics, it's over. I got to go to a break. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. Taking some time to talk this morning about the inauguration, the brothers who show up for Donald Trump, and I mentioned those top 4 entertainers, but there were also, Mike Tyson's been a long time friend of Trump, Kodak Black, who Donald Trump gave a pardon to, he comes out publicly, he supports Donald Trump. There were other NFL players, Antonio Brown. Yeah, he's a Trump guy. So it's not like there were not other people that were, lining up to show their support. But this is the thing, and caller, I see you, but this is the thing I would love to say to all those brothers. And Nelly, offered up, my daddy was in the military. My grandfather was in the military. My uncle was in the military. My aunt was in the military. And he said, if these people can give their lives for the office, because that's what they was giving their lives for, was the office of the presidency, then I can perform for it. Negro, stop. Your daddy, your auntie, your uncle, your granddaddy was not giving up their life for the office of the presidency. That is not what happened. And if you ask them brothers and that sister, I bet you they would say, that's not why we was there. In a lot of cases, they was there for opportunity. Because for some black folks, there wasn't a whole bunch of opportunity. If you couldn't afford to go to college, you went to the military. Some folks was there to prove that black people belonged in the military, that it was about integrating the armed forces. There were people that were there to prove a point, to set themselves up so that they can make life better for their children. The GI Bill, home ownership, student loans. Being able to, the GI Bill to go to school. So no, Nelly, your damn daddy, granddaddy, auntie, and uncle was not there because they was protecting the office of the presidency, you idiot. They was there for the country. The country is not the presidency. Again, idiot, and why you can't send everybody.
And on top of that, just to go back in history, it was a point in time when they didn't even want the blacks to even fight in the army.
Exactly.
So what are you talking about?
I mean, but again, dude act like we stupid and don't see you. Bruh, I can at least respect idiot soldier boy who said it was about me getting paid. Because I know what to do with that. But you trying to tap dance around like you some patriotic blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But you want to be patriotic, to an office and an individual that's getting ready to tear this country up already showed us what he was about. And I'm like, so, and because y'all know I'm gonna stay on it. Does Colin Kaepernick deserve that same level of allegiance since you end up losing everything trying to elevate the concerns of black people? Yay, nay, no, nah. For way too many, nah. I mean, I appreciate what the bro did, but dang, I can't. The Packers is playing on Sunday. We might go to the Super Bowl.
So you know what it is a lot of people, they really don't care. They say that they in it, but in reality, it's really about, well, yeah, I hear you, but I don't, because it really don't affect me. I'm gonna keep doing this. If I want to watch the game, I'm gonna watch the game
until something happened to them. Then they, now call the NAACP, call somebody, call Sharpton. What y'all doing?
Yeah,
they didn't let me go on my job.
Yeah,
until it happened to you. But I keep asking the question: when do we get dissatisfied? Because while we got 4 black men that can be invited to perform, you know how many black people are in Trump's incoming cabinet? And the nominees that he's put forward of the first 100? 1. Former NFL player who is a legislator. Turner. 1. When we look at, so you got to look at what people do, not just what they say, but what they do. I appreciate the report that WISN did in which they broke down the new administration look so far in terms of age, race, and gender. Women make up just about 50% of this nation's population. You know how many women Trump tapped in his first 100 people? 16. So 16% of all of the positions went to women. The other 84% went to men. 12 people came from TV and news media personalities. 10 are immigrants. 1 NFL football player. That's the black dude. These are the first people in the first 100 people Donald Trump brings to the table. So when they did a further breakdown, while white people make up only 58% of the United States population, Donald Trump has picked 87% white people to serve in his administration. Again, not reflective, because he already let us know he doesn't believe in diversity, equity, inclusion. The FBI recently scrapped its DEI programs, and Donald Trump has called for them to retain all records so they can go back through and figure out if they believe people were DEI hires. Because, as he said in a statement, diversity, equity, inclusion never had any business being created. Damn the fact that we ain't never made slavery right. Damn the fact that we ain't never paid people for forced and stolen labor. Damn the fact that we put laws in place to make it discriminatory for you to receive the same services that you were paying for, that white people was paying for, but you weren't treated fairly about them. That same nickel that you put in the little meter to ride the bus, but if a white person got on the bus, they could tell you to get up out the seat that you paid to sit in. And if too many white people got on the bus, they could put your black behind off. Ain't nobody never made that right. When you look at it overall, Black people make up 13.7% of the United States population. We got 1% of the jobs so far. Hispanic in the Trump administration, Hispanic and Latinos make up 19.5% of the U.S. population. They got 5% of the jobs so far in Trump's administration. Asian Pacific Islanders, Native Hawaiians, they make up 7% of the country's population. They got 6.7% of the first 100 jobs that Donald Trump has put in place. What did I say? When they bring Black people in, with the exception of Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and Jimmy Carter, we always get sent to HUD. And so Scott Turner is going to go head HUD, Secretary of HUD. But the age of the people, 25 states, Wisconsin, we got somebody, Sean Duffy in the mix. But when we talk about the immigrants and the age of people, so you got Elon Musk, who basically is running point. He's the shadow president, not from this country. And a number of people tripping off of the gesture that he did at one of the events yesterday, in which it looks like he was doing the German Heil Hitler hand gesture, where he put his hand over his heart and then took it straight out in the air. Did anybody else see that? And, you know, people standing there like, what just happened?
I'm just wondering why nobody's talking about that, though. Like, nobody's talking about it.
I mean, because then you have to really deal with it. So people outside of the United States is talking about it. The BBC, Reuters, a lot of the foreign press picked up the gesture and talked about it being outrageous, but nobody else did. A lot of the American media, what looks like a Nazi salute to most people, is barely a blip on the radar. Excuse you? Excuse you. People were sitting in complete and total disbelief. But Elon Musk is like, right in your face, boo. What you gonna do about it? My money insulates me from all of this. You got somebody on Trump's team that's 27 years old, that's a deputy over personnel. 27. The oldest person he brought on board is like 80. 27 years old. What you know? But the bigger, greater, broader point for all you bros that was willing to run behind this dude and, oh, he paid me. But the real jobs, not the minstrel show, the entertainment, the shake your ass, watch it fast, make it work. The real jobs, you Negroes couldn't get. Not interested in hiring y'all. And then the one brother that they do bring, the first thing he starts talking about is a possible work requirement for people receiving low-income housing. I'm in low-income housing because I'm already usually working and don't make a lot of money. I'm in low-income housing because I may have a disability. I'm in low-income housing because I may be elderly. I'm in low-income housing because I may have other things that prohibit me. Nobody is in low-income housing because this is the American dream and where I want to be. But they went and found a black man who could open his mouth and say, y'all lazy, you need work requirements in order to live in low income housing. We're not going to do nothing about the affordability of market rate housing. We ain't doing nothing about that. We're going to figure out a way to say that it's your fault that y'all need low income housing. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, good morning, sis. How are you feeling?
I'm good. How you doing this morning, bro?
I'm doing great. Just a little chilly. Actually, I was on hold for a second, but no, that's cool. I was calling actually to say something, excuse me, about Eli. Yeah, I saw that move he did. Actually, he did it twice.
Right.
And I like James Bond. I love his movies and everything. And I was just telling my wife, it's something like almost like out of a James Bond movie what's going on. You know, we got him looking like Dr. Evil there. We got all the tech giants there. Did they all drink the same drink? You know, it's like a little corporate going on. You know, like Trump got them under, a spell or something like that. You know, it's like something out of a movie, really. It's all like we're in a dream. Like, can we wake up from this thing and what's going on already? Not even in the first 100 days, like in the first 10 hours already, what he's done. Trump. It's just we got a long way to go, sis.
Look, what'd you say? We on 24 hours and already between the pardons of all of these January 6 people, more than 100 executive orders that are put in place some of these orders are getting ready to mess up this country.
Right.
So we just get started.
He wanted to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America now. He changed that. That's part of it. Just little stuff like that.
But the idea that you think you're gonna get rid of birthright citizenship, that if you're born in this country, you're not automatically a citizen. Like that's madness.
Right. Obama had changed, what was it? It was a Denali, I think he changed the highest peak here. Now he changed the name of that mountain to Mount McKinley.
Right.
Just in 10 hours. Come on.
And this is the thing that we are caught up in this country. Mm-hmm. Every time somebody new comes into office, it's a flip-flop back and forth.
Right.
We
can never go, we take one step forward and we take 3 steps backwards.
Absolutely.
It's like, and the thing about it too, with this mass he's going to deport the immigrants and everything. I'm gonna tell us, black people, y'all better get y'all asses ready too now. We not protected like that now either. Now don't think we got this cover behind us. And when we start hearing about the Mexicans going back, it's gonna start happening with Africa. And I got a prediction that's gonna start happening with the Somalians first. And then it's gonna start happening with your cousins, and it's a long road ahead. God bless America. We gotta pray.
All right, thank you, bro. I appreciate the call.
All right.
And and this is the one thing I don't think some even black people appreciate, because it's people in the Hispanic and Latino community are talking about this. When folks first start coming for you, they may not know if you from the continent or not. They may not know if you're an illegal immigrant from Mexico or not, but you look a certain way. So we're going to detain you until we can verify who you are. So while you might not get deported, you might end up at an ICE facility because, Michelle, you look a little immigrant-y. You look like you might have overstayed a work visa. I mean, you are kind of dark skinned. You do have that Yoruba look. I'm not sure about her. We're going to need to check her birth certificate and her credentials. So we're going to snatch her off the radio at NOV when she walks out the door and take her to an ICE facility until we figure it out. Like, people don't appreciate we have all kinds of ways to get caught up. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
And Carvey and Jermaine. Listen, I wasn't going to watch the inauguration, but so many people that I talked to said they weren't going to watch it. I would like to hear the ratings on that too. I'm telling you, I'm looking at what he did and all the things and the changes that he's going to be supposedly making. Some that should cause a fight. And then he wants to come on. We're going to be a country of law and order. How are we going to start out with that when we're starting out with corruption? How are we going to do that when, number one, you got Elon Musk saying, if you don't dance to the tune that Trump is laying out, I'm going to fight you and make sure. Did he forget he's in the United States and there's such a thing called democracy?
No, he didn't forget. They changed it.
And I know. and you know something? Let's just keep watching. I'm not going to blame nobody that figure I'm going to make my money here. Let them go on and make it. But I hope, number one, I hope the guy that's over housing be as smart as Lena Taylor was when they thought they were punishing her, putting her out there. What did they put her in?
Agriculture. Farming, yep.
Yeah. You don't put intelligent people that know how to make something out of what you thought was nothing. So I hope you make a difference. So where do we go from here? We better start strategizing. But you know something? We give away too much information. We need to start doing something before they start doing something to us and start shutting things down. We better start getting organized. We better start getting it together, and we better make sure nobody 27 years old get on that Supreme Court.
All right. Thank you, caller. I appreciate the call.
Right. Have a great day.
Yep.
All right, community. We've been in bigger fights than this, and we can do it because we've got God on our side.
All right. Thank you. The one thing I will say is that, you don't have to begrudge nobody what they want to do to make money, but you do have a responsibility to decide how you're going to respond to that. Yeah. Don't be mad at Soulja Boy. I'm frankly pissed off with him because of the way he referred to Kamala Harris and the complete and total disrespect and talking about people could suck his blank. Yeah, I got problems with all of that. You're trifling because that ain't business. That has nothing to do with business. You lashing out because people got at you. But the community has a responsibility to respond. When the caller said that, we got choices, there are consequences, and there are responsibilities, we have a responsibility. And I'm going to just say this. We got to stop letting only a few Black people fight our fights because we do that. That's why we only say certain names, King and John Lewis and Rosa Parks. And so we know it was other foot soldiers, but in the end, it's way too many of us that are willing to sit our behinds on the sidelines while other folks is out in the streets fighting for our rights. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, good morning. This is Angela.
Good morning, Angela.
Baby, listen, I got a comment. I did not watch the inauguration because he was disrespectful to Dr. King for one. And then he finna pardon these people for January the 6th. No, he out of order. He way out of order. If I could slap his face, I would.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it.
And I'm going to keep it 100.
Nope, I got you. Thank you, sis. I appreciate the call because that's the level of frustration that so many people feel. Let's just take a second and talk about the man who was the head of the Proud Boys, who gets 22 years in prison for sedition, which meant that you violently attempted to overthrow the U.S. government. That dude is getting ready to go home today. Not no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I already went down to Florida to look where he's from. They expect him to be released sometime this morning.
So
if he hasn't been released already. Like, think about that. So all of this back the blue, and we love the police, and we love law enforcement. No, we don't love y'all if y'all in our way. We don't love y'all if y'all in our way.
can you imagine if that was black people that stormed the White House?
You already know. We do it every day here. We actually made ourselves tired of if that was. What if it had been? But first of all, let me be clear. Nobody black I know would have went to the U.S. Capitol, pulled their pants down, and took a crap in the United States Capitol. None of us would have did that. Zero, nada, zilch, Nathan, no black person I know would be that trifling and nasty to go to the United States Capitol and take a bowel movement in the building for everybody to find and have to clean up. We ain't nasty.
Yeah.
We ain't nasty like that. We don't do stuff like that. But the idea that you got all of these officers who was in these fights, and I'm only bringing up officers because that's who really was the front line trying to stop these people from breaching the Capitol in this manner. So it was plenty of officers that I believe that was down with what went on with January 6th. Yeah. We've heard about some of them. We know that there's members of the U.S. military that's racist and all that nonsense too. It's not like everybody, was a victim. It was some people that were enablers of what happened on January 6th. But for all of the real people, the protect and serves, the boys and girls in blue, who typically vote Republican, particularly if they white. Donald Trump sent all y'all a message. Anybody think about y'all? If y'all in the way of what white folks want to do, we will mow you down too. The idea that one person with the stroke of a pen could wipe away years of prosecutions, to act like the violence that we saw didn't happen, to make these ignorant people heroes and send them back into our communities with a different level of being emboldened because our boy is sitting there for the next foe. I caught 22. I'm going to be at home eating Domino's pizza by 2:00 this afternoon. Just think about that for a second. The whole, if you don't believe in privilege, if you don't understand white privilege, if you don't understand white fragility, because this was based in what happened, A, with George Floyd, and B, with Barack Obama being elected president. When Nelly said politics is over, what did Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell and Boehner, all of them sitting in the room, say? We're going to do everything we can to make this dude unsuccessful and a one-term president. That's what they said.
And they tried it too.
Politics wasn't over on the day Barack Obama got elected. Yeah. One of Wisconsin's own was in the room scheming and conniving to make sure that this dude failed. Mitch McConnell was working behind the scenes to steal Supreme Court appointments. Had Mitch McConnell not stolen Supreme Court appointments, we would not have seen Roe v. Wade be overturned. Politics don't end with the election, Nelly. This is every day. This man gives full pardons to 1,600 people. That's damn near every prosecution from low level to the most severe that was done. Hundreds of and thousands of man hours, taxpayer money, all up in smoke. And who gets to pardon them? The people that they were there to help. I know. Somebody said Michelle, the head of the Proud Boys, ain't white. I know he Mexican. I know that. But I bet you if you ask him if he is a Mexican who identifies as white, like when he gets to check the box and they say white, Hispanic, white, non-Hispanic, they had to create that box for him. Because there's no way you want to lead the Proud Boys and you truly understand what it means to be Mexican. Just no way. Let me take a break. I'll be right back.
The passing of a loved one is emotional enough without adding the stress of funeral arrangements. By pre-planning, you receive the desires of your heart while taking away the burden from your family. It also saves you money, providing the dignity and respect your memory deserves. And there are times when life ends unexpectedly. Please know that the New Pitts Mortuary is here to lend a helping, caring hand anytime, day or night.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So, it was funny. Debo came in. He said, yeah, you in here ranting and raving. Nah, you ain't even saying nothing yet. Because the amount of work that has got to be done, that should have started, quite frankly, on November 6th, it is crazy to be able to protect and position the Black community to survive and thrive during this administration. And whatever the term, because this is the thing, Even when Trump leaves in 4 years, many of these players will still be in place. He's leaving the house stacked. And now that many of these people have figured out that this is what their voting base is cool with, you got to find somebody to be the next Trump. I'm watching even the internal war play out, and that the part where you and callers, I see y'all, I'm coming. But for the people who was like, it's eggs, it's the economy, stupid, it's the price of gas. No, the hell it wasn't. And all them billionaires sitting up around Donald Trump right now at that inauguration was a reminder of that. Should have been informing your understanding of what's getting ready to happen and is already underway in this country. You got the top wealthiest people in this country who all now have immediate access to power, so much so that we are going to create a made up entity to do the job of members of Congress and talk about government efficiency and get rid of federal workers, many of whom are black. You can't go to DC and not step over 7, 8 black federal workers at one time. You can't do it. And watch the infighting. Steve Bannon wasn't at the inauguration yesterday. But that's Trump's boy. That's the scammer who gets people to send him money to build the wall so he can take it and kick it on the yacht of some rich dude from China or wherever the man was from. But why wasn't Steve Bannon at the inauguration? Because the billionaire class is who Trump is surrounding himself around, because Trump is like many of these rappers, the almighty dollar is what drives him. So Steve Bannon was fine to get you to the room, to the party, but now that you're in the room, you want to hang out with the big boys, the billionaires. So Steve Bannon is a thing of the... I ain't gonna fully say a thing of the past, but you clearly been moved around. You have Nathan that can touch Elon Musk. If Elon Musk wanted to buy out your platform and shut your voice down completely, he has the financial resources to do it. All of this chitter chatter about who potentially could buy MSNBC, who is getting ready to buy TikTok, as Donald Trump issues an executive order yesterday to stave off the closing of TikTok in America for at least 75 days while he works out a deal. Who they getting ready to sell TikTok to? One of the billionaires that was sitting at the inauguration yesterday? Zuckerberg from Facebook, Elon Musk, who now you would own TikTok and potentially, you would own Twitter and potentially TikTok. How does this deal look? Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. I was listening to your program.
Okay.
And I'm glad we have you because you are a fighter for us. And number one, we have to join the team. What I wanted to say now, now they got this Citizens United stuff where all this money can be dumped into campaigns and stuff.
Yes.
And a lot of money got dumped into Trump's campaign. And a lot of rich people like Elon Musk was giving people, what they say, $1 million or something. Yeah. And then I was seeing this one guy, he was running for president, a little Chinese guy. He was running for president back here. I think at the time Trump was running the first time or something, but he was saying he wanted to give people $1,000 a month. Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah, Yang.
Yeah. So what about, okay, now they can dump all this money into a campaign, but yet we can't get $1,000 a month. But once Trump and them, they won. So now they can take dollars and give themselves raises. And we couldn't even get $1,000 a month.
that Andrew Yang. I was trying to think of his whole name.
That was him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it literally is everything is getting ready to flip on his head. Everything from Medicare and Medicaid to healthcare. People who thought that they were doing something to help themselves have no idea of the harm that's getting ready to happen in this country. And
already
the wealthiest people are, because I think about how this country was founded, and it was the wealthiest of those that was at the table for the most part. The landowners, slaveholders, nobody else really had an opportunity to help frame the Constitution. But the wealth, and that's where we are again. The wealthiest people in the world almost were sitting at that inauguration yesterday with immediate access to the president. And how do you stay wealthy? How do companies become profitable? You take money from everywhere else that you can. And who gets hurt when you take money from everywhere else that you can? People who make rank and file minimum wage. Low income people in your company, in your community. The people that are the lowest on the totem pole are going to pay the highest price for the rich to get richer.
Crook, steal, kill. That's what I call it. And like I say, and then you got your automation coming in. So they used to be showing on TV those automated factories.
Yes.
So you got that's going to steal jobs. You got us scanning out our own groceries, trying to scan out our own groceries. Sometimes it's not working. You got the shrink plate. All the little toothpaste and stuff is shrinking. You got the little raggedy clothes coming from China, all the buttons falling off. I mean, even your, I was looking at your little jogging suit. Come on now, almost a pair of pants is $40.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
They steal it. Crook, kill, steal. Okay.
Thank you, caller. I appreciate it. And you raise excellent points. But make no mistake, y'all, there is a decided shift in what's going on in this country. Vivek Ramaswamy, who was supposed to be a part of this fake Department of Government Efficiency. He's getting ready to go run for Ohio governor. And whether or not people, because they said, people didn't like him. They didn't like him before they named him that. Even he does not appreciate that he is subjected to a degree of racism, even though he's convinced himself that he white too. Because he's not any more extreme than a lot of the white guys that hang around Donald Trump now. But they ended up pushing him out. I looked at J.D. Vance doing his little swearing in. I'm like, dude, you a non-factor. You just, we had to have somebody constitutionally because what Donald Trump thought you was going to do for him, Elon Musk is doing it all now. They don't need you. They don't need you to message because they're trying to figure out how to control the message. It won't be Russian state-controlled TV, but I'm going to get you to as close a possibility of it as I can. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Quick statement.
Okay.
For the couple of people who called this particular radio station with the hate against Mexicans and whatnot. If they all are deported and they were taking our jobs, we can't get a job. Who they think gonna be picking this fruit and vegetables if all those people go back? And here's one thing I can tell you: I expire over 80 degrees. I ain't no good at it. So now we're talking about. Still, okay, if you in low income housing and they require you to go to work in order to keep your house, what job do you think they're gonna give you?
Absolutely.
Out there picking vegetables and fruit?
Yeah. Because what did the other caller say? By the time we get done automating everything and getting rid of the need for human beings to do a lot of the jobs that they're doing, where are you going to go work at? If you don't get retooled, reskilled, even in some cases getting reskilled, if I can do it with automation, I still don't need you. I still don't need you. No matter what skill set you get, I still don't need you. So
Yeah,
you're right. Somebody gonna have to do these manual jobs
somebody got to
that are
do
not
it.
gonna be done by automation.
No.
Okay.
So that's what bothers me the most. I just don't understand how black people can be racist to another race of people. Are you kidding me?
Well, and this is the thing, because I want to be clear. There are definitely some people that are Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, whatever, who look at black people with disdain. They believe that they better than us. I
Yeah,
don't want to create no fantasy about who's necessarily our friend and who's our enemy.
it's
Because we
true.
know there are some people that have drank the Kool-Aid. Because this is the thing. As long as we all dumping on black folks, ain't nobody dumping on us. It becomes the mentality.
Right, but it's history repeating itself actually, because I remember in the South when poor white people still, I mean, they stayed right across the road from my grandmother. They didn't have half of what we had. They
Right.
weren't clean. They weren't educated. They weren't nothing, but still, they thought they have the right. A white woman asked me a couple of weeks ago. She says to me, I already felt her energy when she asked me. She said, can I ask you a question? I told her no. You know what she said to me? Why? Then I proceeded to ask her, was her parents related biologically? Because anybody else, once you say no to them, you're supposed to walk off unless you got some frontal bone that's usually connected to insects. But let me take my blood pressure medication. Y'all catch me the rest of the day. All right.
Yes, man. Thank you. I appreciate the
All right.
call. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all. People ain't gonna like it, but somebody gonna have to keep ringing the bell, keep pushing the envelope, keep trying to tap people on the shoulder, smack them in the face, and hey, y'all. Nothing changes if we don't change. We can't do status quo. We can't do business as usual. We can't decide it ain't nothing I can do about it. And these folks go, like what somebody say, white folks gonna white folk. One of my friends said it all the time. White folks gonna white folk. So it ain't nothing you can do about it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Don't concede your power. Don't give up. Yes, it is. I saw an update on this story. Remember, I talked to y'all about the white couple down in West Virginia who had adopted 5 black children. And they got arrested in October of 2023 because a neighbor saw one of the kids on the side of the road who had snuck out of this shed that these children were being kept in. The children were all siblings between the ages of 5 and 16, all of whom were black. And this couple basically had been treating these children as modern day slaves. So, as opposed to sleeping and living in the house, they were being kept in a shed where they slept. And they said that it looked like a barn, a small barn. And Child Protective Services ends up being called. They go out there, they take these photos. It was a bed in there, had concrete floors, plywood walls, an AC unit that was not plugged in, metal chairs, a small table, and a camper toilet. Now, these people have been legally allowed to adopt these 5 children from state child services. And this is what they put them in, this little shanty that had a camper toilet. And they said that neighbors had noticed that these little black kids would work in the yard for this couple for hours on end. Twice, neighbors called 911 to have welfare checks done on these children. One of the things that the woman said that adopted these black kids, they wanted to live like that. These children prefer to stay out in the shed. She said and her lawyer, this is a normal family. They have Christmases, all of them. They have Christmas presents. They have family vacations. They sit around dinner tables and eat. That's what she said. Don't believe the reports of physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. There are people that would be happy to see us in this condition today. Happy. Because what in you as a human being takes 5 children who've already suffered some trauma that they have been legally separated from their family? Mother, father, everybody has lost parental rights. So these children have already gone through hell and back. And you get custody of them and put them outside in a shed and keep them locked up in there in sweltering heat until they need to be working in the fields or doing work in your house. This is not just about, oh, this couple was mentally ill. There are people that believe that is where we belong. And y'all, we do not help ourselves because we, to some degree, co-sign on people mistreating us. We co-sign on Black men being overlooked in coaching positions. We co-sign on Black men not being paid fairly in terms of injuries in the NFL. We co-sign it. Every time we look the other way, we watch a game, we support a company that has policies that are detrimental to us. And this is the thing. And we don't participate in trying to make it better because that's the other part. If you say, Michelle, I ain't willing to walk away, but at least tell me what you're willing to do to try to make it better. To join an organization, to support, to help fund the legal defense fund for people suing the NFL and suing these companies. Because a whole bunch of people getting ready to get sued right now. When I said you can't step foot in Walmart no more, I meant that. And now I realize you're going to be over at the Black grocery store more, down at Pete's grocery store more. You're going to have to make longer trips, be uncomfortable. And if it ain't nobody but me, then it's just me. People treat you how we let them treat us, y'all. And we keep showing we don't have no damn fight. We don't have none. We don't have none. You ain't got enough fight to damn turn off a TV. We ain't change the channel. We don't have no fight. In the entire first 100 people, one Black face who is sit there to message that Black people is lazy. That's it. We put you, Negro, over the area that many low-income people, Black people, are impacted by. And we're going to let you make the detrimental policies that's going to tear up this community. And whose face is going to be on the end of it? A Black face. I'm just saying. We're going to have some hard decisions to make over the course of the next few days or next few months, because we don't get 4 years to wait to come back with the fight. No, Nelly, dummy. Politics is every day. We don't get 4 years to come back to the fight. We got to figure out today. One of the things that the keynote speaker said at the King Fest celebration yesterday, he said it shouldn't be a church that's closed every day, except for Sunday service, Wednesday prayer night, and maybe for the choir to come in and rehearse. Given all the things we facing, how you got time to be closed? What kind of activity and work is going on in your environment? And we can apply that to every other organization, community group. Y'all, we got work to do. to protect ourselves. The first 100 executive orders, we're going to pull out how many of those immediately and directly impact Black people tomorrow. But if y'all think we got time, we already lost the game. Hello, Mr. Pierce. How are you today?
I was talking to some ICE gentlemen outside, and they were looking for a Nigerian-looking sister with a Kango hat. I told them I hadn't seen her, so...
Well, I appreciate you protecting me.
They offered me a little something.
And here we go.
I can show you where she is.
And here we go.
$30.
Soldier Boy has entered the building.
30 pieces of silver.
Soldier Boy Harris has entered the building.
With the $1 million, everybody got a price.
Soldier Boy Harris has entered the building.
Hey, man.
All right, y'all. That's a wrap. Carvey, appreciate you, bruh. Ride out, appreciate you.
Indeed.
Yeah, y'all, nah. And it's so much that I didn't get to. I got like 12 things I didn't talk about.
Yeah, look at those posters.
Oh, there's a second page. Yes. But I'm going to get out the way.
Wow.
We'll get it in this week. Peace, y'all.
Say something real.
It is now time to take you live to the Northwest